Welcome back into the Rounding Third podcast. I'm Nick, and as you see, Harrison and Sean are not with us this week, so we have a couple of guests on. We have Morgan and Doug. How are we doing tonight, fellas?
Doing good.
Doing good.
Yeah, we're here
Happy
to
to
talk.
be here.
Yeah, it's going to be a crazy show. We got a lot to talk about.
But
first,
your co-host trade deadline not showing up. What's going on here? Is this a baseball podcast or? Come on.
I don't know, man. It's crazy. But congratulations to Harrison, our podcast crew.
Understandable.
Grew by one. So he just his wife gave birth to a baby girl this morning. So congrats to Harrison. And Sean is on vacation practicing to make a baby. So he'll be back. He'll be back next week, I believe. So yeah. Before we get going, just make sure you like, follow, subscribe on YouTube. You can also listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. And we're going to hop right into it. Trade deadline talk. I was kind of worried because it was quiet. And then these last 2 or 3 days has just been like rapid fire. Everyone's moving. I was afraid after the Ohtani talk kind of died down and we're like, oh, we're taking Ohtani off the block, that it was just going to be another dud trade deadline. But we've actually had quite a bit of movement. And we'll start right off the top with Max Scherzer getting traded to the Rangers, but not yet because he didn't waive his no trade clause, and it was a whole mess. But then he did end up waiving it. So Max Scherzer to the Rangers. Thoughts?
Go ahead, Morgan.
Yeah, I feel like it's a move they had to make. With DeGrom going down, he's probably not coming back, I would imagine. Ever. Right. Hence why I wouldn't have paid him that money, just too injury prone. But Scherzer, his stuff hasn't been great this year, but maybe the change of scenery, a winning culture might help him get back to form. But they had to, because Houston's right on them, and their playoff pedigree is something you got to make that deal.
Yeah, I kind of the same. Like with DeGrom now gone, like you gotta find somebody that's gonna pick up that slack a little bit. And even though Scherzer hasn't been great this year, like he's one of those guys that we were talking about, I think last week or the week before, like a couple of years ago, he was a no-hit threat every time he was on the mound.
Yeah.
So if you can even get 60% of that out of the guy going into the playoffs, that's an arm you want to have in your lineup.
And not only that, for me, it's the Rangers can actually put up 8 to 9 runs a game. Like the New York Mets stink. Let's face it. They're the highest payroll. They haven't put any runs on the board. It is bad to watch. It's bad. Everything in New York right now is really
depends on who you're asking. I think it's pretty fun. The Mets hype gets so high, and then they start losing every year.
As an all-around baseball fan, it's terrible to watch. But yes, I agree with you.
Especially with that line of having Lindor and Alonso just right in the middle of that line, and you can't do anything. It's like, what are you doing?
Nothing. How many runs do they score if Alonso hasn't hit a home run? They don't score if Alonso doesn't hit a home run. That's
the analytics of baseball. I hate it.
Yep. But he's gonna get the run support in Texas, and then he gets another arm. Who else just got traded there? Drawing a blank right now.
I thought I made a note on that.
I did too, and I just lost it.
Yeah,
but
I think they added 2. Wasn't it one of the Cardinals guys? I thought they added.
Yes, Montgomery. Thank you. Jordan Montgomery also went to Texas. So they're gonna have 7 guys that they're gonna rotate through that rotation, and that's without DeGrom. I don't plan on him coming back at all. But
I think they limit Scherzer 5 innings, 6 innings at most, and then he's a workhorse in the playoffs.
Absolutely. 1,000%. Do you think it's enough for them to get by Houston, though?
No.
Or to stay ahead of Houston?
No.
To stay ahead, maybe, but to get by him in the postseason, probably not.
Texas just hasn't been there recently enough to know how to get the job done. It's a different kind of atmosphere. It's a different kind of play style. It's a different game in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. And you got the talks of Justin Verlander possibly heading back to Houston, but also talks of him not waiving his no trade clause, or the fact that he has a player option that he might not exercise. So that's another part of like the roadblock in his trade.
Right.
But yeah, crazy. I mean, again, like kind of what Morgan just said, I'm not sure I'm sold on the Rangers yet. I mean, they have the pieces, they're ready to compete, but Houston's just so seasoned, it's hard to say that they're going to get past them.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Texas is like kind of young too with Adolis and who's the other outfielder that they got that's really young and good. I can't remember his name.
You got Tavares.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, the center fielder.
Yeah, and then you got Marcus Semien up the middle. I mean, he's not young, but he's not old either. Like he's that right middle. He's kind of in that prime age range, and he's solid too.
Yep, Josh Young at third base, rookie of the year candidate. I mean, they have the fire. Jonah Heim behind the plate. I think Jonah Heim and Corey Seager actually just went on the IL. But I mean, Texas is going to be good for a while, and they get back at the right time. They're going to compete, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But staying in the AL West, the Mariners are now looking at it and just being like, well, we're going to sell because we have no chance of getting by Houston or Texas. And there's no chance we're getting a wild card spot because all 5 teams in the AL East are sitting in the wild card position. So I think the Mariners are throwing the towel in. They just said that Teoscar Hernandez and Ty France are on the block. So anybody that wants more offense, Teoscar Hernandez is leading the AL in strikeouts. He's got like 139 in like 102 games or something like that. It's astronomical. So the Mariners like, we're all set with that. You can take Ty France too.
I would imagine anybody on their team except for J-Rod is available.
Yeah,
I would agree with that. Yeah, absolutely.
I think it was like an hour ago they traded their closer to somebody, didn't they?
Yeah, the Diamondbacks.
Diamondbacks.
Yep. So Sewald to the Diamondbacks, and I think Seattle actually got a pretty good return out of that. They just got Canzone, who's a top prospect for the Diamondbacks, and then Josh Rojas. He spent some time in AAA. He's been hurt. As you guys probably know, I've been like huge watching Arizona Diamondbacks this year. And then their top prospects. So they got 3 guys in return for Paul Sewald, and they do need bullpen help. Like they're struggling. They got Andrew Chafin holding down the anchor in that bullpen.
I've seen him. He was a Cub for the last few years.
It's
not great.
It ain't pretty after they leave the game.
He's good maybe in like the 6th inning, but
I was gonna say like right after that trade, I looked at who the Diamondbacks have in the bullpen, and nobody that they have that saved a game this year. I think they have one guy that saved a game that has an ERA under 3.8.
It's not pretty. If Merrill Kelly or Zach Gallen don't go 7 or 8 innings, the Diamondbacks are in trouble. And this month we've seen it. They've gone from first, now they're in third by a pretty good margin, I'm pretty sure, because they haven't been able to win in July because their offense has cooled down.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. What else? What do we got? The big ones. All right. Let's get right to the Angels here. We can probably talk about this team for a little bit. First of all, the Shohei Ohtani sweepstakes / nothing happened.
Yeah.
They threw him out there, but the asking price was astronomical.
It's never been seen before, that kind of asking price.
Like, you're giving away your whole future if you're going to get
in today's baseball. Ohtani's not going to sell for an opera play or script or something like Babe Ruth did. Different game.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Doug. You got it.
Well, I was going to say, like, you're trading away your entire future if you're trying to trade for Shohei. Like, you're trading 4, 5, 6 of your top prospects. That's your next 5, 6, 7 years of your future right there. Just for this guy.
Yeah, I mean, you look at what Juan Soto got. He got 4 big prospects, but you still had another 2.5 years of control for Juan Soto.
Right.
Harrison brought it up last night. He's like, and that was a big haul. Even then, we were like, wow, I don't know if I would have done that.
Yeah.
This is 2.5 months of Shohei Ohtani. And I mean, good for Artie Moreno just being like, well, no, like I'm either getting this or he's not getting traded. Like,
right.
That's it. I mean, it's just, It's just absolutely. I mean, we knew he wasn't going to get traded. There's no one.
Yeah.
There was one team that's desperate enough to make that move.
The Yankees.
And and it's the Yankees, and they did.
And you see the ESPN trade simulator that comes out for them, and they're giving up half and nothing for getting Shohei Ohtani for 2 months.
It's like putting in the trade to MLB The Show. You give him like the 3 top prospects. Oh, I have Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah,
that just doesn't happen.
Right. Do you want to force this trade? Yes, I do. I have Shohei.
I'll give you this 60 overall John Rock. Force trade.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was just. I mean, even the show last week, we were talking. I was like, "There's no way this is happening. There's no way somebody is going to do this for 2.5 months." Because he's not even going to sign and trade either. Like, he's not going to go there and extend. He's going to free agency. He's already said that. We'll get to where do we think he's going to go later. This is the part where I don't get. The Angels are now making deals to try to get players in to try to win now. Why weren't you doing this for the last 4 years? Like, Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani aren't going anywhere for a while. Why aren't you trying to do this sooner? Like, oh, crap, we only got 2.5 months left. Let's go for it now. Like, probably should have thought about it a little bit sooner if you're me. But they trade for Lucas Giolito and Ronaldo Lopez for bullpen. And then today they just got some offensive help with CJ Cron and Randall Grichuk from the Rockies. Power bats, another right-handed power bat like Renfroe, Trout, Cron.
Yeah, that's another
Brandon
lineup
Drury.
that's going to put up ungodly numbers.
Yeah, I don't know who you're going to pitch to in that lineup right now. But they have a lot of people on the IL as well. Their list is pretty extensive right now. Obviously, Trout at the top. Rendon, but he hasn't been anything since they
Ward's
signed.
still on the DL, right?
Who?
Ward? Taylor?
Yep. Ward is done for the season. The report came out. He got hit by a pitch in the face. They put him right on the 60-day IL and doesn't expect him back. And then their catcher, Logan O'Hoppe, who came up and tore the cover off the ball the first couple months. He's done for the season too. I don't think he's coming back. Yeah. So I mean, they got a whole list of guys. They look like New York Yankees West, but they're gonna go for it. And I mean, why wouldn't you? You have the 2 best players in baseball. You got to go for it.
Yeah. If you've been sitting there for 4 years and you're like, well, this is our one shot with 2.5 months left of Shohei. I mean, might as well take it if this is your one shot.
Yeah, I mean, if you really think about it, they have the 3 best players in baseball. Because you got Trout hitting Ohtani and pitching Ohtani.
Fair enough.
But I mean, they're making good moves to make this push. But they got the Astros ahead of them. It was the Astros, and then the Rangers made good moves. So that's gonna be, they're gonna beat up each other, and they're probably only one team's getting out of that division because they're gonna beat up each other.
Yeah. And that's the interesting part of the balanced schedule coming down the stretch is how is it going to impact divisional races, wild card standings, and all of that? Because is there going to be a lot of movement? Is there not? Because, we're not playing in division games. Because usually that last month of September, you're playing in division games and you're moving up and down. You're trying to make some room. But with a balanced schedule, who knows? Like, Angels are probably playing the Brewers at 3:30 on a Thursday afternoon.
No, that's Sunday Night Baseball material. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, anything with Shohei. Right there. So it'll be interesting to see the races down the stretch, how that's going to look. But I don't know if there's an American League team to get a wild card spot that's not in the AL East. Who do we think it's going to be?
I mean, it's got to be one of these. The Rangers or the Angels. I don't see anybody in the Central making a push, but
no.
The Central is just fighting out for who's going to be closest to the under 500 team to get a division.
Has there been an under 500 team division winner in the history of baseball?
I don't know. In the history of baseball, that's a good question.
Because I know in football it's been done. just recently. Baseball, I don't feel like that's something with how the schedules have been in the history that it's felt possible.
It's probably happened, but it probably hasn't happened in like 40 years. It's probably like last time it probably happened was like the 70s.
When they had 12 teams in.
Yeah.
They played 6 games.
San Diego Padres, the only division winner to finish losing more than they won. 2005. It was a below 500 record.
I knew it wasn't often.
Yeah.
2005.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. So the NL West was just brutal that year, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah. Just to go back to Scherzer real quick before we move on. He's the first professional athlete ever to be paid more than $15 million a year by 3 separate organizations.
Yeah. I saw that today.
I was like, wait a minute, what? So yeah, the Nationals, the Mets, and now the Rangers will be paying his salary.
Yeah.
It's
wow.
Crazy, man.
Good for him, but
that's very Bobby Bonilla-esque.
Yeah, I mean he's what? He's on the books for I think it's $73 million.
I think
this
so.
year. Because the Mets were paying him 42 or 43, and then he was already getting paid by the Nationals another 30. So I don't know how the money worked with the Mets, how much the Mets took on. I mean, they obviously had to take on some, but
yeah,
like the Rangers are paying him at least $15 million. It's crazy. Do you think, going back to the Angels again, I know we're kind of hopping around. Do you think it's a little too late for the Angels? Even though they're making these deals, do you think it's all for naught?
In regards to what? They're making the playoffs or keeping Ohtani?
Yes.
I think he's gonna stay in LA. He seems like a West Coast guy. I don't see him going anywhere. As for the winning, no. I don't think that team's not gonna gel enough to get a rhythm to do anything you need to do in the playoffs. I just don't see it. Yeah. It's been their issue the last 4 or 5 years. Just they don't make the right moves at the right time.
That's fair. What are your thoughts, Doug?
Same. I mean, you're bringing all these guys in with 2 months left, and you're fighting for a wild card spot that, like we were saying earlier, majority of the AL East is in that exact fight too. So I mean, you got to beat out the entire AL East plus a couple teams in your own division to get that spot. So
yeah,
you're fighting a lot. You're fighting a lot.
Yeah. Do you think it's Angels ownership being like, hey, like we will do whatever it takes to win? Like you should re-sign here? Do you think that's part of the game too?
It could be because like they're looking at it now and they're like, all right, well, we had this up. Everybody knows what we have in him now. So if we just show him that we're committed to him now, as well as trying to win, maybe he'll stay. Which, along with Morgan, I think he's staying in LA too, because same thing. I think he just likes it there. Even though they don't have that winning culture, I think he's comfortable there and he likes it.
Yeah.
We'll see. It'll definitely be interesting for sure. So, staying on the West Coast, we'll switch over to the NL West. The LA Yankees just go for broke, and they just get everybody. It is a 2020 reunion tour. Joe Kelly comes back. Kike Hernandez comes back. Why don't we just go out and get Lance Lynn too? And then I think the most underrated trade, I think the best trade so far at the deadline could be this trade, is Ahmed Rosario going to the Dodgers. With Gavin Lux going out and them missing a middle infielder for the entire year, this could be a very, very good signing for the Dodgers. I hate it, like I said, because I've been rooting for the D-backs all year. And we'll get to the Giants in a minute because they're right on the doorstep too. But I think that could possibly be the best signing, and the fact that they got rid of Noah Syndergaard in that deal.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, getting rid of that Syndergaard contract, I think is huge for them anyway. With all the contracts they have on the books, to get rid of any little space that they can is helpful. But Rosario's solid up the middle. Defensively, he's a solid bat. He's going to bring a lot of consistency to that lineup in that team.
Yeah, and that's what they've been missing up the middle. They haven't had that.
It also fixes the signing that they did for Miguel Rojas a couple of years ago, too, where they paid him a bunch of money coming out of Miami, and what has he done since then?
Yeah, that was that at the beginning of this year? I think Rojas was a free agent this year, wasn't he?
Is he at the beginning of this year or last year?
I don't remember. It's Miami. I don't watch it.
Yeah. Exactly.
They trade everybody anyway.
Yeah.
We'll get to them in a minute. They actually made a couple deals, but the second place Marlins. But I mean, yeah, the Lance Lynn signing is interesting. Like, I don't hate it if I'm the Dodgers, because what Lance Lynn's going to do for you is just eat innings. You're not asking him to come in and be your big game James in the playoffs. You're asking me like, hey, dude, come in, eat these innings for us until the playoffs, and hopefully our starting pitching can heal up and get back, and then they'll be our guys for the playoffs. But
yeah,
I mean, Dodgers have been bitten by the injury bug too. Like I think whole starting rotation was down at one point. It's crazy. Which we've talked about at nauseum, the fact that these pitchers have been pitching a certain way their entire career. Now you're asking them to get up and sprint, and just with a pitch clock, like get the ball throw. And, these guys weren't quite built for that. The younger guys are, because they've been doing it up through the minors.
Yeah.
But you're looking at these seasoned vets that are like, I mean, look at Alek Manoah. The dude couldn't. Just huffing and puffing out there. It's like, dude, go back to Florida and stay away from the buffet table. But we're starting to see an increase in pitching injuries because of the max load it's taken on their arm.
Do you think the older pitchers that used to throw complete games, 8 innings, 9-inning games, would have as much of an injury issue? Because their durability was probably a lot better than it is now.
I don't know. Like I think it's just different. Like they were able to pace themselves throughout the game versus like if you get in a tough inning, you're throwing 30 pitches within a 10-minute span. Like you're gassed. Like you have one bad inning, you're gassed. No matter how durable you are. I don't know. It's hard to say. I'm not a finely tuned athlete like I once was, but
I mean, none of us are, obviously.
I don't know. What are your thoughts on it? Like,
I mean, I think guys, I don't know. It's hard because I mean, guys like Kerry Wood, who are always hurt anyway, would struggle. But then you look like a Greg Maddux. I think the game now, Maddux would be unhittable, even though he already was. I think he'd be even more unhittable because his control, his just everything way he could. I think Maddux would be unhittable right now.
Yeah, because he didn't really rely on velocity. He relied on his control and his placement.
Control of movement.
So at this point, like his arm's not going to wear down like these other guys throwing 100, 102. It's because he's throwing 89 to 91 at most.
Yeah, I think certain guys like that would be thriving right now. And your flamethrowers from back in the day and probably would fizzle out a little bit, but I mean, the Nolan Ryans would be Nolan Ryan still. It wouldn't matter, but
right. Yeah, all these guys that are throwing now are max effort guys all the time. Like even the starting pitchers that are coming up are throwing 100, 102, and they're just burning out. They don't have the baseball's changed so much that you don't even have a complete game anymore.
No, like, it's crazy.
I mean, what Alcantara did last year, he had 6 or 7 complete games, like unheard of.
Yeah.
You just don't see it anymore. Managers are like, get me to the 5th inning, get me through the 5th inning, and I'll have 4 guys follow you that throw 140. Like,
which I miss it. I was always a lover of the pitching in baseball, which is why I've kind of dwindled off watching as much, but because I miss pitching. I love the art of pitching, the games they play with the batters. I love all of that. Yep. And now with the pitch clock, a lot of that's gone.
Yeah. It's not even just like the pitch clock in my eyes. It's like also the technology around the game too, right? Yeah. The analytics of it all has kind of taken away that, like, Morgan's my catcher, Doug's up the bat. I've faced Doug 3 times. He's owned me all 3 times. How am I going to go about this without going back to my iPad and checking it out? Like, I have to remember that Doug took me 3 deep 3 times off this pitch.
Aren't they testing in the minors some little battery thing from the catcher to the pitcher to signal signs now? I thought I read that somewhere.
Instead of the pitch comm?
Instead of the fingers, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they have the pitch comm that they've been using all year.
Oh, okay. So
so they literally just have like numbers on the catchers on the shin pads, and they have a little piece like in their headband of their hat, and it literally says like fastball inside.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
Yeah.
To take away from the Houston Astros trying to steal signs.
Yeah, it's all about the trash cans. But yeah, I mean, some of that stuff's kind of taken away from it for me. But yeah, I agree. It's hard to see guys go the distance anymore. You just don't see it.
Yeah. Shohei threw the first shutout in a month? It'd been like a month since the last one before him, I think, this year.
Yeah. And that was the first of his career.
Yeah.
He had never done it before either, which is crazy.
Yeah. Like back in the early 2000s, you'd get 3 shutouts a week from different pitchers.
Yeah, easy on a slow week.
Yeah.
It's definitely different. I mean, the whole hitting approach has changed. Like, hitters are just drop and drive, which we've talked about before. Like, it does make sense, right? If I'm hitting against prime Max Scherzer, it's easier for me to dip and dive and get 1 solo shot off Max Scherzer than 3 base hits in a row off Max. Because no one's doing that. No one's getting 3 base hits in a row off prime Max Scherzer. Sorry.
No.
I'm just gonna swing from my touch hole and hopefully make it 1-0.
Yeah.
And if not, Joey Gallo lead the league in strikeouts. So, but yeah, it's just the whole game has definitely changed. But I'm with you, Morgan. I do love seeing guys go the distance. I miss it. I think it's awesome. But, all right, we got the Tampa Bay Rays actually make a pretty decent move today. They get Aaron Savali from the Guardians, which is interesting to me because the Guardians came out a couple days ago and said Shane Bieber's not moving. Little did we know he went on the IL. And then they just go out and deal Aaron Savali to the Rays. I did not see the return for that. I don't know what the Guardians got back in return. But I mean,
they got a hitting prospect, Kyle Manzardo.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah. Well known.
No clue.
Yeah. It's first baseman.
But I mean, the Guardians aren't that far out of the Central. They just traded their number 2 pitcher away. Guardians are back by half a game. They traded away Savali.
It goes back to that, though. Are they going to beat any of these other teams in the playoffs, or is it they're getting swept even if they get in?
Yeah.
Well, that's what we thought last year, and they went to the ALCS.
True.
I mean,
it's what they think, though. It's what they think.
Yeah.
Like they look at their stuff and they're like, "What are we gonna do?"
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean that's fair, and it's like it's kind of like when we got to the Shohei thing. It's like if we're not gonna bring Shohei back, we got to get something for him.
Right.
It was all the Red Sox fans last year with Xander Bogaerts. We're like, for God's sakes, if you're not going to resign this guy, like send him to the St. Louis Cardinals and give us Nolan Gorman. Give us some of these young guys for him. Please do something. And they're like, no, we have a shot at resigning. And then they didn't resign him. He walks for free. We get nothing. And we suck again.
I saw a lot of your players in the All-Star game.
Oh, yeah. So many.
I saw Mookie. I saw who else was there?
JD Martinez, who was washed up. JD Martinez.
Chris Sale must have pitched, right?
Oh, I'm sure somewhere. My God.
To be fair to Boston, though, I mean, they did offer Bogaerts a fairly decent deal, but 11 years at however many million that San Diego offered him, I wouldn't offer that either.
You can't turn that down.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Red Sox only offered Bogaerts the years the 6 years. So when Mayer's ready, he's like, okay, like Bogarts, you go away, and then Marcelo Mayer comes up.
Right.
11 years is asinine, if you ask me. If you're the Padres, like you're paying him till he's what, 40? Was it 41, 42?
Either 41 or
they're going to pay all those guys till they're 42.
Yeah,
I don't understand where their money's coming from.
It doesn't matter. They still suck. I'm surprised they haven't sold their entire team. That is one team. Harrison and I talk about it every week. Like I try to watch the Padres and I shut it off after about an inning and a half. I just they don't suck me in. They play clunky. Very boring baseball, and I don't get it. Like on paper, they should be just smoking everybody.
Yeah,
and they can't hit. It's crazy.
They don't have a Joe Torre to keep all those stars in line and on the prize.
I guess. I mean, I thought Bob Melvin was like one of the perfect managers for that team, and it's just proven. I think, honestly, Tatis was just way too big of a distraction at the start of this year for that team. I think that's part of it. He just set the tone, and it was not a good tone, and they just couldn't recover from it.
Yeah, I mean, they have too many opposites on that team. Tatis is very outspoken and everything. Soto's very like calm demeanor, just wants to play, have fun. None of those styles seem to match on that team.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, you got Blake Snell out there absolutely dealing. The guy hasn't given up a run in like a month and a half.
Yeah.
And he's still losing ball games. He's like 1-7 in those starts or something like that.
It's the DeGrom syndrome where he can only get one run.
So bad. It's so bad. I don't understand it. I was almost half expect. I mean, there's still time left, but they could move Soto. They could totally shake up that entire Padres team if they wanted. The only thing is, like you just said, with all those long-term contracts, I don't know how much shaking up they'd really want to do.
Right.
But you could move Trent Grisham. He's still under control for a couple of years. Younger guy. Snell would have gone if he didn't start dealing like this. There's no way they can deal him now, unless they get like a really good package for him.
Yeah.
But his name was floated around early trade rumors, but I don't think he'll end up going anywhere. Let's see. Who else do we got? All right. We'll jump to the NL East. So we'll jump to the Marlins. So they pretty much swap closers. Jorge Lopez from the Twins goes to the Marlins for Dylan Floro. It was just a straight up swap. And then David Robertson, who you've probably known, he's pitched for the Yankees, the Cubs, the Phillies, the Brewers, the White Sox, the Dodgers, the Giants.
Kind of everywhere.
Rangers. Yeah.
He's good for your grid game if you need a name.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I put out there on the Facebook page, I was like his record 85th franchise or something like that. Just like he's been everywhere. So he goes to the Marlins. That Marlins team is interesting to me. Second place, negative run differential still. Alcantara is not the starter he was last year. I mean, still good, still serviceable. But he's not the dominant Sandy Alcantara he was last year. But I don't know. I haven't watched enough Marlins to really make heads or tails of it. But they're in second place in the NL East. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I haven't caught many of the Marlins games outside of maybe them being against the Braves because down here in Georgia, it's all Braves, and May will let you know it's all Braves. I mean, and to their credit, the Braves are really good this year.
It's so good. They're not even worth talking about. They're that good.
Right.
Yeah. I went down to my first Braves game a month ago. It was awesome.
Oh, the new stadium's awesome.
It's so
the whole pavilion outside. It's a good time.
Yeah, the home plate area behind where like all the memorabilia and stuff is really cool. It's oh my god, it's like Harrison and Sean tell me all the time. They're like, is that your new favorite ballpark? It's like every new ballpark I go to that I haven't seen before is my new favorite. Like,
I mean, to be fair, there's not a bad seat in that. No. I've sat in center field. I've sat down third base, first base, right field. They're all awesome seats.
We were second deck in foul territory next to the Hank Aaron Pavilion.
Yep.
And you could see everything.
Yep.
It was amazing. But Doug, what's your favorite Major League Stadium? Not Fenway. Not Fenway.
Well, I mean, obviously. San Diego was really nice when I got to go check that one out because out in right field they've got like a whole like beach patio set up. That's real fun to just go hang out in. Same time, out in Denver, going to Coors Field.
Coors is nice.
Great to go hang out in.
Yeah,
I've done that a couple times. That one's always fun too.
For $4, you can sit in the rock pile for $4.
Yeah,
but nice. All right. What other deals do we got here? We got two names that have been thrown around but haven't been dealt yet. Jack Flaherty from the Cardinals and Marcus Stroman from the Cubs. So the Cubs did come out and say that they're probably not going to sell. They're probably going to hang on to Stroman, probably going to hang on to Bellinger because they're in the race. But I mean, Bellinger would have fit perfectly into the Yankees. High strikeout, high power guy.
He's been playing pretty well this year.
He has. He has been.
I've been very surprised. I think last I looked, he was hitting over 300.
Yeah, I think he just needed to get out of LA.
Yeah, because he seemed to gel right in with the Cubs lineup, which I love their team. They're fun to watch. You got guys like Nico and Dansby who just singles, doubles. It's old school baseball. It's awesome.
Yeah, and they're going to be good. They're going to be very good. They make some key moves in the offseason. The Cubs are going to be right there. That Central's interesting. I mean, Cardinals are whatever they are now.
Yeah, I didn't see that one coming.
And then the Pirates starting off the season the way they did. I'm just like, Reds coming out of nowhere. I'm just like, what is this division? What is going on?
And then the Brewers.
And then whatever they are. I'm lost on them. They made a huge deal picking up Carlos Santana from the Pirates.
I was actually going to say that's a sneaky good move that they made. I thought that was sneaky good.
Where do you put Rowdy Tellez? You just got another fat first baseman. Like, where do you put Rowdy Tellez? Do you DH him and then you have Santana play the field? Or
well, Santana's a switch hitter too, so he can.
That's true.
You can put them on opposite. So if you got a lefty pitcher, then you just put Santana at first for that game. Let Tellez sit because he's not great versus lefties. Yeah. But if you got a righty on the mound, then you just play both of them.
Yeah, that's true. The Brewers have some young kids that came up early. One of them was done for the year like right away, right? He tear his ACL or Tommy John or something like right away. I think
so, yeah.
It was a center fielder. He was good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was talking to Morgan before. It's like I never know what to say about the Milwaukee Brewers, like ever.
Yeah, you don't expect much from them. You don't really hear much. And you don't expect much.
No. And then we were talking about how that year that Corbin Burns won the Cy Young, like the whole pitching staff overachieved. Like they almost took what Corbin Burns was doing and like rode with it. Like Woodruff was nasty. Peralta was nasty. And then now they're just kind of like, meh.
It reminded me a lot of the Tigers team when they had Scherzer and Fister and they all had that one dominant year, but they ended up trading and getting rid of those guys.
Porcello
was there. And they got a haul for them, but it's the same kind of vibe. Same kind of franchise, really.
Yeah. It's a great point. I forgot all about that Tigers team. Anibal Sanchez was in that mix.
They had that team was really good.
Yeah. Verlander was still there.
Their hitting was good too because they had
Miggy winning triple crowns.
Prince Fielder.
That's right.
Yeah.
Man. Prince. I always forget about the Prince. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I believe in the Brewers enough for them to stay in first place there.
Don't believe in the Brewers.
Yeah.
But the Reds are just so young that I also don't quite believe that they'll get there either. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but you root for the Reds because they're a more fun story. So
1,000.
So Yeah.
The Reds got like 4 guys that can compete for like those lower, almost like Ellie obviously fighting for Rookie of the Year, and then
I don't know if he's fighting
gets the
for it. I think
timing,
he's just gonna get it.
yeah,
I don't know, man. Corbin Carroll is having a season.
Yeah.
And
It's going to be
been
tough.
up longer too. Corbin Carroll's been there longer too.
Yeah, he started the year on the roster, but
Yeah,
Ellie's just so good. But yeah, we were talking about it last week. The Reds have 5 rookie starters in their lineup.
yeah,
5. It's crazy.
and they're all good.
Yeah,
They're all good.
Well, there's a reason they're in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
Well,
You
it
just
is the Reds, so I mean, for the
I mean,
last 15 years, anybody could have started for the Reds.
Okay, I mean, also a fair point. But I mean, Spencer Steer, Matt McClain, Will Benson, these kids have just come up and just absolutely ridiculously raked.
Yeah.
And then they're young pitchers too. Hunter Green going on the IL. They haven't really missed a beat. Like, they've had these other kids come up and make great starts for them. So Ashcraft is scary to me. This kid can throw triple digits, wipe out stuff, and he's a rookie. He's still learning how to pitch.
Right.
Yeah.
At this level, he's going to be very good. The Reds are going to be a team to deal with for a long time, I think.
Till they trade all these guys away for next to nothing in true Reds fashion.
Oh, no, they'll sign one of them to like a 13-year deal and then trade everybody else.
Yeah.
Because they need their Votto, and then that's it.
Yeah.
What do we got here?
Well,
Then we got breaking news.
It just says Verlander could prefer the Astros.
Oh, well, that's...
So Dodgers or Astros are the 2 teams that are in on him right now.
he's already been to Houston, so he understands what they're doing there.
Yeah. And I mean, why wouldn't you go there and chase another ring? I mean, yeah. Let's see. Who else did I miss? Oh, Houston does get Kendall Graveman, also from the White Sox, to bolster their already ridiculous bullpen.
Yeah.
They get another all-star reliever. Jamer Candelario from the Nationals to the Cubs.
That one just happened.
He's third, right? Third base?
Yeah.
Who is Wisdom out?
Mm-hmm.
Wisdom's out.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. That's a good move for them.
Yeah.
Is he due to come back, or is he
I think he's supposed to be coming back, but he can play a couple positions. We can throw him in the outfield.
Yeah.
Heimer, I think, is also the same. They also just picked up Jose Caus from the Royals, some reliever. I've never heard of him, but
the only Royal I know is
Bobby Witt
Jr. and Salvador
Salvi.
Perez.
Yeah.
And then Vinny Pasquantino, but he's not even playing for them right now because he's out for the year. But
yeah,
those are the only 3. It's really bad.
Name a Royal.
Yeah. George Brett. That's about all I got. And then did we mention AJ Pollock going from the Mariners to the Giants? So AJ Pollock and Mark Matthias, who's like a utility infield guy, goes to San Fran from Seattle. The Giants. How are we feeling about the Giants in the NL West right now?
Up and down. Like, if their pitching can get there, then sure. But
yeah, they're very inconsistent on the hill for sure.
Yeah. That's gonna be the big thing, is their pitching has got to be more consistent.
Yep.
Like, they just took 2 out of 3 from Boston, but they walked it off twice in extras. So I mean, it's not like they were going out there beating them. It was close.
Yeah. They're beating the teams they have to beat to make, to make way in the standings. But
right.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. Again, like West Coast teams other than the Diamondbacks, I haven't really been watching because it's like I got to pick one team and watch them because it starts at 10 o'clock at night.
They are past my bedtime.
So it's really tough. I mean, I've seen a handful of them, obviously, because they've played Arizona. But yeah, I don't know. I did watch the Red Sox series, most of it, the Red Sox played atrocious baseball, and
They have
still
most of the
almost.
I was gonna say every Red Sox game I've seen because my sister's had it on, they have not played well.
Dude, this series was gross. I top to bottom, like it was just.
Bring back Ryan Brazier.
Nope, no, please. Anybody but him. I'd rather take Wakefield out of the booth than bring Ryan Brazier back. But yeah, I mean, it was really bad baseball, and then the Giants just squeaked by. And I mean, like, the Red Sox played horribly. Like, it was really bad baseball to watch. Yeah. I even texted the boys. I go, what is this? Is the Little League World Series on already? Like, this is bad.
Side note, did you see the U12 men's baseball team for USA?
The 43-1
beat
game?
New Zealand 43-1. Oh my god!
Everyone's like, "Oh, way to run up the score," and it's like, dude, the mercy rule doesn't start until the fourth inning. Like, you got to get to the fourth inning first.
Yeah,
like,
I saw that. I'm like, this can't be real. There's no way.
But even then, like, dude, just go up there and don't swing. And then I hope it wasn't just walks. Like, the pitchers just couldn't even get the ball over the plate.
Yeah,
like just sitting there and just another quarter in the merry-go-round. Like, yeah, 43-1.
Oh my god!
I
couldn't even imagine.
I couldn't imagine being on either side, like
no,
the winning side or the losing side.
I just can't imagine having fun at that point.
I'd be like, Coach, just hand in the lineup card. We're up by 38. Like, we're good. We're good.
It's the third inning, Coach.
If you're the losing coach, though, at what point do you go out and you be like, all right, like, we get it, like, we're done? Yeah. Like it's a kind of a serious question. Like, you guys are up by 28 in the bottom of the second. Like, let's call off the dogs.
Yeah. How about we bunt?
Well, even then, they probably put the ball in play. They probably can't get them out.
Just swing at whatever the guy's throwing. Like,
I mean, they scored a run at least. It wasn't 43-0.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, go up opposite-handed with your blindfolded. Do something. Yeah, that was brutal. But getting back to the Red Sox here a little bit, they are considering offers for Adam Duvall and James Paxton. I like that they're in on James Paxton because sell this dude high. This guy has come back from Tommy John, which this is a under the radar genius signing by Hein Bloom, by the way. Signed him knowing that he was on Tommy John, taking a risk, taking a flyer on this guy, knowing he wasn't going to help you until this year possibly. And he's come back and he's throwing hard. He looks good every outing he's at. Like, and then sell this guy high. Get something good for him. Get a starter. Red Sox need starting pitching badly. I mean, if Chris Sale can stay away from bicycles, we'll be okay. But otherwise than that, like, Brian Bayo is getting there. He'll be great. I mean, we do have a lot of people coming back from the IL. Story's supposed to make his debut on Friday, I think I heard. Whitlock's supposed to be coming back. Houck's supposed to be coming back. But, I mean, get something for these guys while you can.
Yeah. So I was kind of split on the James Paxton one because I was like, he's one of the few. He's like your lefty starter that's actually given you something this year. So you kind of want to hang on to it, see where it can take you. But at the same time, like you're saying, sell high because Hein Bloom got him for next to nothing on a year on a contract where he was going into Tommy John and he knew it. He's performed. Go get something for him. Get something solid.
Yep.
Yeah, it's hard when you have that lefty starter that is dealing to get rid of them because there's so few of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, Adam Duvall, I think would have been a great addition for the Red Sox this year until he broke his wrist in center field, and he just hasn't been the same. I mean, this dude came out in the first, 3 weeks, already had like 7 home runs, like just absolutely tearing it up, then breaks his wrist. He hasn't been the same. But I think we can get something for him.
Aaron Duran stole his job too.
Well, that doesn't help either.
Took his job.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah.
That kid's been lights out since he's been back up. This is the one that I'm kind of torn with is they're also taking calls on Alex Verdugo. Now, I don't know. I think, was it your comment? I think you said now it makes, if he goes, it makes the Mookie trade look worse, or someone said it.
That wasn't me. I saw that.
Yeah, so it was on that thread somewhere, but I don't know. He's such a professional hitter. He never I never see him swinging a bad pitch. He's always in every at bat, and I don't think he's a cornerstone guy for the Red Sox. Obviously, with Devers not going anywhere, he is. But
he's your Trot Nixon.
Yeah, Verdugo's not going to put you any ball games. Right. It's a great comparison. He's not going to cost you any ball games.
Yeah.
That one, it would have to be a very good. I almost said to the boys, I said, you send Verdugo and Marcelo Mayer, a la Chicago White Sox 2018, Yoan Moncada over to Chicago for Chris Sale. You send Verdugo and Marcelo Mayer for Dylan Cease.
Yeah.
But you're giving up your shortstop future there. But we also were doing that when we sent Moncada. Like, Moncada was like the next up-and-coming superstar for the Red Sox, and look how he's panned out.
Yeah.
So, and Sean brings up a good point. He says it all the time. He's like, talent now, proven talent now is better than prospective talent.
Always.
100%. Right? And, I mean, you don't know what Mayer's going to get when he gets up here, but you know who Dylan Cease is. Absolutely know who Dylan Cease is. I wouldn't mind seeing Verdugo go for that. I think it's kind of a pipe dream, but
I don't know. Everybody on the White Sox is on for sale.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If we have to take Tim Anderson in that deal too, bring him over. I mean, he's going to do nothing but help. He's a free agent at the end of this year. Like, if it's just a tag along to get the deal done, all for it.
Sure.
But yeah. Was there any other deals that I missed that you guys caught? I know we kind of jumped around. It wasn't very.
The only one that we saw that we kind of talked about earlier in the week was Kike back to the Dodgers.
Yeah,
and that was kind of a whatever deal, but
yeah, that was I think Kike is the odd man out. I know we had Harrison and Sean and I are talking about it last week or the week before about when all these guys come back, who goes down or who gets DFA'd, and we're like it's gotta be Kike Hernandez, right? So yeah, it was definitely like, hey, just go away. Thanks. Yeah, thanks for that run in 2021, whatever the hell he was on during that playoff run. But thanks for that, and have fun in LA. But
do we talk about Mark Canha?
Oh no, where did he go?
He just got traded to the Brewers.
Dang.
Yeah.
Did it say for who?
Minor league pitcher Justin Jarvis.
So it's going to be all prospects pretty much, but
probably.
That's cool. So yeah, Mark Canha goes to the Brewers. So Brewers make another move, but he hasn't really had that much of a great year. He's a New York Met. Of course he hasn't had a good year.
Yeah. He was on the Mets. What do you expect?
Yeah, that organization, man, I don't even know. I don't know where to go with there either. But Sean's a huge Mets fan, and he was saying that, like, this is actually good for baseball, that Steve Cohen paid all this money and it's not working. Like, it's really the best case scenario for baseball in that case, because, you're not going to have other owners go in and just, open their checkbooks and buy World Series. So, and I tend to agree with them. You're going to have to build teams, but.
I mean, you're always going to have the Yankees and the Dodgers, but.
Yeah, you're always going to have the big market teams that spend. But, I mean, the Yankees have also been developing guys lately. I mean, they got some young guys coming up.
Gleiber.
You got who?
Gleiber.
Yep. Then Jason Dominguez is coming up. I mean, they do have some prospects that are coming up. So
that's what I'm waiting for the Cubs. I want Pete Crow up in the pros, but I just
Still
don't
no.
want to. They still no. The kid's a stud.
are they giving him the Chris Bryant treatment?
Probably. Gotta wait for that extra year so he can hold him hostage one more year.
It's so brutal. I hate that. All right. So Doug is in Japan right now, which is really cool. So we're like
That's why it's so
international-
bright.
Yeah.
Right. So he just woke up or has had his coffee and have been up for
I
a
just
couple
got off
hours.
work.
What, you never went to sleep?
No, I work night shift here, so I work from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Oh, dang. So we're keeping them up. My bad.
Yeah.
So that's cool. But he actually got a chance to go to some of the Japan League games. Was it the Nippon League or was it?
Yeah.
So he's
Yeah,
some of
it
the
was-
Nippon League. So we have some of the pictures here. And we're just going to scroll through them. And you can kind of like just talk through them if you want to. But
Yeah, most of this is just like getting pictures of what their stadiums look like, which is very basic. Like they care more about the product that they're putting out for baseball than like
I
what
don't
the
hate
actual
that.
stadiums look like. It gives you like a very much like a college baseball feel almost.
But even this, like, there's not a bad seat.
No,
No.
everything looks fairly visible.
Right.
Yeah,
You're not
it
like
is.
underneath a stanchion anywhere. You're not
No.
hidden behind a pole.
Yeah.
So
Like all
I don't know.
these.
That was just a video.
That's a picture of Munetaka Murakami. He was the league MVP last year at 22 years old.
Yes, and he was in the World Baseball Classic, and he put up a show for he helped
did.
Japan very well.
He did. He
So
will not be able to be posted for major league signing for another 3 years when he's 26.
Holy.
So 26.
he
So
is-
he'll have a big posting fee and a contract, kind of like Yoshida this year.
Yes, he's going to be a big deal in 3 years. That's a guy to watch.
You said after 2025?
Yeah, in 2026, I believe he'll be.
Man, I gotta wait like 4 more
Wow.
Yeah,
years. Heck with that.
yeah, he's an absolute stud.
And I can't play the videos. Oh, it's too bad. Yeah, he had a video of one of his home run swings, so it was pretty cool.
He's a left-handed hitter, right-handed thrower, hit a 340-foot homer to left field. Just no doubt shot left field.
It's awesome.
Super simple swing.
Yeah. That's so cool. How many games did you go to? Was this just one or was there?
Yeah, this was just the one game. I only went to one game this past weekend.
So cool.
There's more showing like how, once again, that's the visiting side. So whenever the visiting team is at bat, or whenever the team that you're cheering for is at bat, the fans would stand and just chant and cheer the entire time they're hitting. They wouldn't be sitting.
So cool.
Crazy. So they could be up for 15 minutes. This is the other team. They're just standing the whole time.
Wow. That's cool.
That is awesome. And what were you guys doing? Just sitting there? Or did you guys stand with like the home team and stuff?
I'll say we were definitely having a good time with some adult beverages.
Fair enough.
So
and
we actually went on a good night. It was 400 yen beer night, and 400 yen equals out to about $3.10 a beer.
Wow.
So
Can't get that over here.
that's
no,
awesome.
we were having a good time.
Yeah, that was like I went to the Guardians game last August, and it was Friday, and they have dollar dogs, and like everybody, and it was the limit was 6 per transaction. So like I was like 6. I was like, all right, and then like everybody's lined up because they were doing the beer hot dog challenge. So
Right.
you have one beer, one hot dog.
One per inning. Yeah.
Dude, everyone was just plastered. It was out of control. Just everyone's just shoving hot dogs down there.
I mean, what else are you gonna do in Cleveland?
So
Nothing but
if you go back
dogs
to the first picture you have, if you go back to the first one, I think it was in that one.
Okay, hold on.
Let's see.
Let's see. Oh, that was you in London. That was another trip.
I did that. I did that a few years ago. No, that's not. That's yeah. No.
Is this it?
Kind of, so that girl right there in the pink that you can kind of see.
Hold on, let me go back.
Yeah,
right here.
Yeah, that girl in the pink right there. So instead of having like beer vendors where they walk around with beer already poured in cups, they have these beer vendor girls where they walk around with just mini kegs and backpacks on
They pour it.
And they just pour it straight from the keg into the cup and just hand them out.
Wow.
Can you pay for a keg stand?
No.
Come on, man. Come on now.
They don't party like that. Yeah, we wish.
That's awesome though.
Yeah.
Man, that's definitely like a bucket list thing for me to do, is to like go over there and check it out at some point.
Did you notice them being like big MLB fans? Because I hear a lot like they're pay attention to a lot of like our baseball over here.
So my buddy that I was going to see up there actually is also a Red Sox fan, and he got some Masataka Yoshida jerseys, but the couple of the ones that he got were printed wrong, where they put the last name on the back instead of the last name, or they put the first name on the back of the jersey instead of the last name. So he gave me one. He gave me one of those ones where it said Masataka, and he was wearing his Yoshida ones. So we're walking in, and all the Japanese people are just Masataka Yoshida, going crazy. So it's like if you're doing like a big name, like someone that they know, they're all about it. But if it's just like kind of an obscure name, then they're kind of like, oh, basically, there's happy about it, but not like not the same.
Yeah,
makes sense.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It was cool that when like Shohei Ohtani was like, he met Bryce Harper for the first time, and he was like fanboying over Bryce Harper. Like it was a really cool moment to see. I think it's so cool when like professional baseball players do that, or athletes.
Yeah, really.
Right? You know what I mean? Like I can't even imagine. Like, because my age, like if I made it out of college and went to pros, like it would have been during like David Ortiz's career. Like I can't even imagine like making it to the show.
Manny, David.
Like I'm playing against David Ortiz, Manny, right? Yeah. Like I grew up watching you guys. Now I'm playing against you. Like it's got to be such a surreal feeling. I can't even imagine what that feels like. But pretty cool. All right, let's move off the free agent talk for a little bit and talk about. It was like rivalry week this week. It was a lot of in-state matchups, or like Braves versus Red Sox matchups. But we had a bench clear and an ejection. We'll start with the bench clear. Framber Valdez hits Marcus Semien in an at-bat, and Marcus Semien took offense to it because I think a Texas Ranger hit Yordan Alvarez the inning before. So Semien, being big and bad, as tough as he is, like slowly walks to first base. Well, his next at bat, he takes Framber Valdez deep and just stares at him all the way around the bases, stares him down. He gets to home plate. Martín Maldonado says something to him. Marcus Semien just gives him a shush sign. Then that's that. Meanwhile, the Rangers now put up like 17 runs in the top of the seventh or something like that. Adolis Garcia hits a grand slam, and Semien's one of the runners on in front of Garcia. So he's waiting for Garcia to come around, and he is just yapping at Martín Maldonado. Bench is clear. Both get ejected. I don't think suspensions were handed down because nothing really happened. It was more of a, you hurt my feelings kind of bench clear.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's going to be a playoff matchup for sure. Coming down the stretch, the Rangers and Astros, that's going to be fun to watch, and that could turn into some Red Sox Yankees like nastiness if this carries on, because two good teams fighting for that spot,
especially an in-state rivalry like that too.
I'm all for it. I love that. It makes baseball so much more entertaining when you have that bad blood built in, and then you get the emphasis of it's win or go home in the playoffs. The tension just builds, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I 1,000% agree. And like we've had that discussion where it's like Red Sox and Yankees aren't that anymore. Is it still a rivalry? Yes, but it's not nearly.
It's not
to the point. Nothing's building up, and you're starting to get that with Houston and Texas, because Texas hasn't won anything,
and Houston
ever.
has,
and Houston has. And that was the same thing with the Red Sox and Yankees. Red Sox hadn't won anything for God who knows how long. Yankees sit there year after year and win. So we're starting to build up, like you said, Morgan, that bad blood, that in-state rivalry. Like this could shake up to be pretty damn awesome.
Yeah. And it's just bragging rights for Texas. Like who's going to own Texas at this point?
Right.
Like Texas needs another reason to fight.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
But two good teams, two good organizations are going to be good for a while. That's going to be fun to watch down the stretch. Second one was Cubs and Cardinals. So going back to a little bit of Morgan territory here. Ian Happ has a big backswing and hits Wilson Contreras. It was Contreras. Yeah,
it was Contreras.
I get the W Contrerases mixed up all the time. Wilson Contreras side the head with a big backswing. Ian Happ knows the next pitch is coming at him. Like he was just standing there. He wasn't even taking his stance. Like he knew the pitch was coming in. Miles Mikolas misses him completely. Completely misses him. Ian Happ didn't even move. He knew it was coming. Next pitch, drills him in the backside. And then the umps get together and then end up tossing him. I don't feel like he should have been tossed.
No.
It was in the butt. He wasn't going for the head. And it's something that baseball's done for years. That it's self-policed. And like Ian Happ knew it was coming. He just dropped the bat, went to first base. Like there was nothing else other than that. And the situation was over.
And normally I would think in a Cubs Cardinals where they do kind of get nasty, there's been a lot. Like if that was Yadier still, I bet it would have been a little different. But where Contreras came from the Cubs, he knows Happ well. He knows Happ he's had that long backswing. And he felt bad. Like he knew it. He went and talked to Contreras for a minute after. Anyway,
he gave him a hug. As he was coming off the field.
I get it. You got to hit him. You just got to do it on the first pitch.
Yeah.
And that's I think where he got tossed. If he hit him on the first pitch,
and I think he knew that, and I think that's why he just lollipopped the second one in there.
Yeah.
It's like, he throws like what, 96, 97? Well, there's his 89 mile an hour fastball.
I don't even know if it was that fast. But I think what was the other one who got it? Just the 3-game suspension. I think that one was way worse.
That was I have that written down, I think. That was the guy from the Pirates.
Yeah, I thought that one was far more justified. Perdomo?
Yeah, Perdomo. Yeah.
I thought Perdomo. That one was I didn't think he got enough because that felt he hit him high and he threw it 99. He hit him.
Yeah. Yeah, you start getting up around the upper back, the ear flap, the helmet.
That stuff goes wrong because it may miss by a centimeter. The guy might duck, might hit him in the head.
Yeah. I don't know how they haven't made those cheekbones mandatory at this point. I mean,
yeah.
These guys are throwing too hard. You just can't react to get out of the way. Like, you're sitting there waiting for a pitch. It's coming at you. And by the time you go, oh, shit, that's going to hit me in the face, you can't move. Like, you're already frozen.
Yeah.
I'm surprised those haven't been mandatory. But, yeah, I agree. That should have been more than 3 games. That should have been a week at least.
And you get – and I mean, to be fair, he misses, what, 1 start, 1 game?
Yeah, and I think he's a reliever,
yeah.
right?
So he may miss 1 appearance, but –
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Before we move on, let's talk about we'll bring it all the way back to Shohei Ohtani. He has a career day in Detroit. I mean, not to take anything away from Ohtani, but if I stepped on the field in Detroit, I would also have a career day against the Tigers. But Ohtani, 1 hit. Was it a 1-hit shutout?
Yeah.
A 1-hit shutout against the Tigers. Completely dominant on the mound. And then just gets up in game 2 and jacks 2 out of the biggest ballparks the biggest ballpark in the major leagues. This guy, I kind of have a hot take on Ohtani, but is he the best ever? Two-way, or is he just getting the opportunity to do so? Now, I'm only saying this because they brought this up in that telecast because Michael Lorenzen was pitching for the Tigers. He pitched for the Reds, hit a home run in the same game, and played an outfield position in the game. He's the only major league player to ever do that. So, and he just hasn't gotten the opportunity to do so, like Shohei Ohtani has. Now, I get Shohei Ohtani is like Cy Young, leading the league in homers. We're talking completely different. But could Michael Lorenzen, for example, could there have been, I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Could there have been somebody else that did it before Shohei, but Shohei is just getting the opportunity?
I think that's 1,000% possible. Because you think about when you're growing up early in baseball, where's your best player? He usually pitches, he plays short, and he's your best hitter most of the time. Because those are the hardest positions usually at that young age. So growing up, they play all those positions growing up. So they're usually a good hitter in high school. They usually pitch in high school. And then going up, I mean, they specialize them once they get to the MLB. Because you look at a guy like Rick Ankiel. You know, he pitched for a while. He wasn't an elite pitcher, but he pitched. And then he came back and hit after injuries. And he hit pretty well for a year or two. Yeah. I think it's just a lack of opportunity for a lot of these guys. Because, I mean, you see a lot of these NFL quarterbacks. You got the Patrick Mahomes, the Russell Wilsons, the Kyler Murrays are all drafted in baseball and in football. So you know they can probably do everything too.
Right. Yeah. What are your thoughts on it, Doug?
I mean, you can see it. Like, you can see, like, yeah, there's been those guys, but could they do it to the level that he's done it is the question.
See, that's where I think my argument kind of stops.
Yeah.
But we just don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Because, I mean, you look at, like, Zach Greinke pinch hit in the World Series last year, gets a base hit. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that he would go out and hit 40 home runs in a year. No. But Greinke has a Cy Young, doesn't he? I'm pretty sure he does.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, he's got Cy Young stuff. What if he was able to hit
I mean, you've seen it in spurts. Like, Madison Bumgarner was a pretty good hitter.
Yeah. He was.
Yeah, very good hitter.
Yeah.
I mean, Jake Arrieta had his moments where he could hit. I mean, there's been guys. Again, to that level of Ohtani, I don't know. But if they had more appearances, maybe we'd know more. But where he's really been the only one really ever. Because even Ruth stopped pitching after not that long.
Right. Yeah, he didn't do the two-way stuff for long either.
I mean, his body couldn't handle it anyway, but...
No. Speaking of shoving out but, yeah, I mean, you have a lot of pitchers that could rake, especially, like, late 90s, early 2000s. Like
John Rocker.
Yep. I was going to say the whole Braves pitching staff. Like, hit 400 as a pitching staff. Dontrell Willis, Carlos Zambrano.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of guys.
Which is why
I'm not saying Carlos Zambrano would go.
I miss not having a DH.
Yeah. Bob Gibson had 24 homers and over 100 RBIs. Yeah. I mean, so that's my point is, like, guys have done it before, but the opportunity has somehow gone away and it's specialized.
And that's what it is. It's all specialized now.
I think part of it too is, like, guys kind of look at it in, like, an injury perspective too. Like if I throw this guy out there and he gets hit in the face by a fastball, now I don't have a pitcher or a hitter for however long.
Yeah, it's a valid point.
Yeah. I mean, and look at Shohei, even, was it year 2? He goes down with Tommy John, and now you've lost those 2 roster spots, so to speak.
Yeah, but Tommy John's becoming a ho-hum at this point. I mean, yeah, you lose a year, but they seem to come back and pitch better.
Yeah.
It's an oil change. It's an ACL tear is all it is. That's all it is. I mean, there's guys that are having preemptive Tommy John surgery. Like, They don't even have elbow problems, and they're going in to get Tommy John.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, you see kids in like high school now going and being like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna go get Tommy John right now," so it takes care of it.
Yeah, crazy, nuts. Was there anything else this week that you guys noticed or was newsworthy that you'd like to talk about or bring up?
I think we hit most
Yeah, I
of
think
it.
we hit. It was mostly just
Okay.
the trade block stuff and Shohei.
All right. All right, let's go. I did ask the question, where do we think, we'll stay on the Shohei train, where do we think he is going to end up during free agency?
I mean, I think
So, Morgan, you think he's going to stay
I think
in
ultimately it's the Angels, but I mean, I see where he might end up on the Dodgers. Sneaky, he might go to Seattle. Like, I think he just wants to be on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Same with the Angels. Like, I think he could stay there. I think that's probably one of he's the most comfortable there.
Yeah.
At the same time, I think he's good with going to a smaller market team and like taking a good chunk of money, but not like their entire payroll.
Why Seattle might be a sneaky team.
Yeah. Like somewhere like Seattle could, because I think he's good just being in a small market team and trying to see if he can help them build rather than going to like a Yankees or a Dodgers or a Boston or somewhere like that where he's got to compete for the limelight, and then there's pressure, tons of pressure there, and you got to perform, you're on this big contract and all this other stuff coming with these big teams, and it's just like, let me go to Seattle for a fairly reasonable but still large deal and see if I can help them.
I would also think it would be
reasonable being $52 million a year.
Right?
Yeah.
I think it'd be hilarious is if in their splash to Vegas that the A's end up going to get Ohtani. I think that would be hilarious.
Ken says the Dodgers. I literally said that last week. I go, watch the A's come in and just blow his socks off with like 20. Harrison goes 11 years, $60 million a year, and you get 20% of the team and you retire. Yeah. Like, just completely blow his socks off. That man would be awesome.
I wanted to put that on the post of just be like, he's going to go to the A's.
Yeah, it's so good. I mean, I like Seattle for the fact that the best Japanese player of all time in the major leagues also spent his career there, kind of brings him in there a little bit and kind of brings it full circle. I think that's a pipe dream. I think there is going to be a big market team that's just going to come in and blow his socks off. But I think it's the San Francisco Giants. I think they finally land their giant. They tried with Correa, missed. They tried with Judge, missed. I think they could possibly get Ohtani.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Henley the Roast said, I mean, why not? I mean, Padres could afford him.
Yeah.
Somehow. Yeah. I mean, they just lost their television rights, but somehow they'll pay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. So we did have comments on it. Henry said, if the Red Sox make the playoffs, he thinks he has the best shot. They have Yoshida there, and how low their payroll has gotten. And then St. Louis or Philly because dumb Browski is a wild man. I mean, wouldn't surprise me.
I don't see Boston or St. Louis. Yeah. I could see a route to Philly, but I don't see that one either.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think he's West Coast. I don't think he even sniffs this side of the Mississippi.
No.
I think Chicago might be the furthest east he'll go, and even that I think is highly unlikely.
Yeah. Long shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of Red Sox homers. John Flanders also said he hopes he signs with the Red Sox.
The Red Sox couldn't even keep Xander Bogaerts. What are we talking about?
It's just the long play, Morgan. We got to get rid of Xander in order to get Shohei.
That was an IQ play.
Yeah.
Long con.
Yeah. It's the same reason we couldn't sign Mo Vaughn back in 97 because we knew Shohei was coming. Yeah, Nick Fanning says staying, and then our typical Yankees fan says Yankees. I hope for baseball's sake that he doesn't go to New York or Boston.
See, and
to
I
be
think it's the
honest.
opposite.
I love my Red Sox, but
I think it'd be good for baseball if he went to the Yankees.
You think
so? I do, because I think you would see that turn of people very disliking Ohtani, and I think that'd be good for baseball. Having because think about when Bonds was the guy for baseball, people hated him, but they tuned in to watch Bonds because
they hate watching.
Right. Yeah. And I think with him, the Yankees, the lore, the pinstripes, I think it would load up the Yankees to be more obnoxious, more over the top, that the hate will bring it. And I think it would be good for baseball. I really do.
It's not a bad point. I never really thought of it that way.
Like that chaotic evil villain.
The evil empire's back kind of thing.
Yeah.
Dude, he would put up 85 home runs.
He would.
Easy. I can't even. No offense. I can't even think about it.
I don't want to.
Yeah, man. Crazy. All right. I have a couple things to wrap up before we head out. Rob Manfred gets an extension through 2028. Lucky us.
Oh yeah.
Super.
But I also don't know who's in the wings. So Rob Manfred might be the lesser of the two evils. And honestly, with these game changes, at first I was skeptical, but they haven't been bad. I think they've been good for baseball overall. Attendance is up. The games are shorter. Like Red Sox games aren't getting over at 1:30 in the morning, or any East Coast game for that matter. So, I mean, I don't think he's done a terrible job, but
he's done good making it more appealing to the casual fan.
Yeah.
Yes, agree. And people also have to remember that, like, he works for the owners.
Right.
Like, he's not necessarily like looking out. Like, yes, he's looking out for MLB, but he's looking out for MLB
how to make the owners money.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. So, I mean, sure, Bud Selig was around forever. I don't think he should be in the Hall of Fame, and he is. But just because you're a commissioner, you'll be in the Hall of Fame.
No, he allowed steroids in baseball. That shouldn't be allowed.
I fully agree. Fully agree. Oh, here I go. I had it in my heading home segment. Perdomo suspended 3 games for
I knew I read it somewhere because I didn't see that initially. I had to go look that one up.
But listen, even if I didn't have bad blood, I'd probably still peg Machado. I hate him. So, anyways, great player.
General fan hates Machado.
Well, mostly because he took out the best second baseman I think ever, but ended his career. I mean, a little too early.
Yeah, he's done that to so many people though. It's just like, I mean, it seems like he's grown up a little bit since he's been in San Diego, but at the same time, it's like, dude, you were such a clown.
Yeah, he's growing up because there's no expectations in San Diego.
Yeah.
Justin Verlander reaches 250 career wins. So I think this is one of the highest win totals that we're going to see from here on out. We're not going to see another 300-game winner. I don't even know if we're going to see 250 again.
Yeah. With these guys not going past the 5th inning,
I think it's just them. They're not staying healthy.
Yeah.
They're not having the long careers anymore. Starting pitchers, 10 years right now.
Yeah, done by 35 at most.
Yeah.
I mean,
if they're lucky.
And you don't get called up to like 27. So
yeah.
Right. Yeah, I blanked on what I was going to say, but 250 is definitely past the benchmark now. I mean, you're just not going to see it.
I don't think.
Oh, this is what I was going to say. I think it's dumb that you can give up a home run on the first pitch of a ball game and get a loss. But if your team hits a home run on the first pitch of the game and you come out in the second inning, you don't get the win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you have to go 5 innings.
But the reliever that comes in the third inning can get the win.
Right. Yeah, and he only has to throw like a one pitch.
Right.
Yeah.
It's I don't understand that. I hate that, but whatever. I mean, 250 wins for Justin Verlander. That's great. He's gonna go get another, I don't know, 8 or 9 with the Astros when that deal goes through in about half hour. But yeah, crazy. And then we haven't brought up the Braves at all, but Ronald Acuna steals his 50th base before August.
Yeah.
He's insane.
Not quite Ricky Henderson status, but I mean,
No, but he's got 30 home runs too. So
we're looking at a 40.
That's the thing.
I think he's going to hit 40-40. I'd be shocked.
You think he's going to get 40-40? What is he currently at right now?
I thought he was at 30-50.
That's fucking insane.
I could have swore he was at 30 home runs.
30-50. Let's see. Oh my goodness, where are you? I mean, 50 stolen base. I mean, we knew stolen base totals were going to be. He's at 24, so not quite
30.
Oh, okay. So
I still think he can get it.
So he's got to get 16 in 2 months. That's easy. That's a slow week for Ronald Acuna. Yeah. And then, already mentioned Taylor Ward on the 60-day IL from the Angels because he got hit in the face with a pitch.
Yeah.
It's crazy because that's probably the 5th or 6th guy this year that I remember getting hit in the face already.
Mm-hmm.
The number's got to be way up on that. But yeah, that's all I have. We got a couple minutes. I'm going to give you the 3 trivia questions I got for you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. This is just looking for one answer. Who broke up at least 81 no-hitters with a home run?
81 no-hitters with a home run. Holy.
The homer in me wants to say David Ortiz, but no, that's not right.
He's probably on there.
I'm going to give you a hint. It's a little bit of a play on words. Who broke up at least 81 no-hitters with a home run?
I mean, Jim Tomei.
No. Think at the very beginning of a game.
Oh, lead off.
I
mean, Ricky.
Yeah, it is. It's Ricky Henderson. So with 81 leadoff home runs, they were no hitters.
See, now you're part of that MLB mold, making up stupid statistics.
Yeah,
you'd fit right in well with the.
All right, this will be a good one. This is a legit one. Who's the only pitcher in Major League history with a perfect game, an immaculate inning, and a 4 strikeout inning?
Ooh.
And it is in our lifetime. We've seen this guy pitch.
Perfect games. Oh, boy.
Question.
In the West
I
division.
have to say,
It's in the West. Okay.
I mean, I'm leaning Randy Johnson. West Division. Baumgartner threw no hitters.
Kurt.
AL West.
Oh, AL West.
AL West. That's fair.
I'll just narrow it down a little bit each time.
Felix Hernandez.
Felix.
Yeah. King Felix.
Whew.
That was a good one. All right. This player, I'll give you the AL East is who it is. But this was just kind of really cool. This is probably really tough for you guys to come up with. But I just thought it was a really cool stat. Which player has hit into the most triple plays while also being a part of 3 defensive?
Oh, my God.
AL East before our time.
Jimmy Fox.
Not that. He's well known.
I mean, he's pretty well
for defense.
Oh, well known for defense.
Could argue probably in the Hall because of his defense. No, not Jim Rice. It's a good guess.
I want to say Lou Gehrig.
No, good guess.
I mean Jeter, but no.
Your dad's probably seen him play.
That narrows it down by
Well,
we're down to 60 years.
When he was our age, he probably saw him play.
I don't think it's Brooks.
No.
It is.
Is it Brooks Robinson?
Yeah, Brooks Robinson. Hit into 4 triple plays, but was also a part of 3 of them.
Crazy.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
But that was really cool. All right. Well, thank you, boys, for joining me tonight and saving me from just talking into the black abyss for an hour and a half.
I mean, we had to save the viewers from that. Nobody.
Well, they appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Oh, it was
Harrison
fun.
and Sean definitely do. But if any other time that you guys want to hop on and talk baseball, we'd love to have you. It was really great. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah. So for everybody else, thanks for watching. Just remember, like, follow, subscribe, and listen to our podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And we will see you next Monday at 8.